Hello guys, welcome back. My name's Nathan and today we're going to be discussing the big news surrounding Johnny Gaudreau and the latest trade rumors involving him and the Calgary Flames. Now, if Johnny Gaudreau's struggles to start out this NHL season, there's been a lot of interesting news surrounding him in the past couple of days. And with the Calgary Flames right now sitting at a .500 record, they're definitely getting desperate. But will Johnny Gaudreau be on the trade block? And could we potentially see a trade of him soon? For all the opinions and info, watch till the end to find out. Now, at first glance, it might be crazy that a guy like Johnny Gaudreau could actually be traded this season. And I think it is still crazy, but there's been a lot of info and credible rumors coming out in the past couple of days with the Calgary Flames' recent slide and Johnny Gaudreau not performing to its greatest. A lot of hockey reporters right now, and even guys like Elliotte Friedman, have the option out there. There might not be a Johnny Gaudreau trade happening this month, but it could happen in the next year. Now, this whole situation started yesterday as I'm recording this when Darren Haynes of The Athletic had an article that was titled this: "Is it time for the Flames to consider trading Johnny Gaudreau?" And this is kind of where the floodgates open, because we've seen some interesting quotes coming out of Calgary in the past couple of weeks with their weird start of the NHL season. Again, they're kind of getting desperate right now, and there could be a lot of moves made in the next few weeks. But Johnny Gaudreau is not one that a lot of people really consider to be out there, or even on the trade block, to be honest. Now, after this Hines article, Eric Francis ended up picking up this story once again, and while he's not the most credible guy out there, he has a lot of sources on the Flames, so I would trust his knowledge here. And in this recent article, he said this: "Odds are against True Living being able to do anything monumental with the likes of Gaudreau until the summer. However, should this team fail to make the playoffs or fall short of winning at least one round this summer, you can bet Gaudreau will start to be shocked." He will then have 2 years left on his deal and will have the Flames thinking very much about not wanting to be left dealing their leading scorer from a position of weakness as they were when they gave Jerome Ginla away. And again, these three sentences are pretty huge. And I don't think Eric Francis is a guy like Elliotte Friedman, but even Friedman did comment on this situation. And when it comes to the likes of Johnny Gaudreau, it doesn't seem like there will be a trade anytime soon. But with the Calgary Flames, their sliding record, and Johnny Gaudreau not performing up to expectation, or at least Calgary's expectation, there could be some moves made in the next year, and I wouldn't be surprised by that. It seems like this season there hasn't been too much of a fit for Gaudreau somewhat, and it seems like he's just kind of there. He is still putting up points, but it doesn't seem like he was as dynamic as he was last season. Pretty much just like the entire Flames roster. Now, I say struggles because I still think Johnny Gaudreau has been pretty good. In 23 games so far, he's gotten 5 goals, 13 assists for 18 points. But that's obviously not good enough for the Calgary Flames, who are starting to wonder if they want to keep him long term. And that's a contract that's been a steal for a very long time, but it is coming off the books in the next couple of years, and the Calgary Flames might want to get ahead of that and get as many assets as possible. But I think for the Calgary Flames, Gaudreau should obviously be a mainstay on that roster. I don't know why they would try to change him. I don't know why they try to change it up for a guy like him. If they want to be competitive, you'd like to have a guy like Gaudreau on your team, but it's obvious that there is some rumors floating around, and ones that could be credible and could actually happen. Now, while we already had Haynes and Eric Francis on this situation, we also have the likes of Elliotte Friedman commenting on the Calgary Flames, where he said this: "I think Calgary is busy making calls and looking for help. I'm worried that the message is being lost from Bill Peters. I wonder if the players are starting to tune him out. Flames tune Glenn Golutzin out, and Calgary would want to avoid it happening twice." Now, Elliotte Friedman also thinks that the players might be more responsible than Bill Peters in this situation, and that if the Flames do slide this season, the players would get the blame. He goes on to say, "Frulik available but no one biting. Brody is going to be okay health-wise, but also available, and the Flames are looking for right-wingers." And while Elliotte Friedman didn't specifically call out Johnny Gaudreau in saying this, it definitely is implied when it says that the players might be more responsible than a guy like Bill Peters, the head coach of the team. And when it comes to specifically Johnny Gaudreau, he's a guy that Calgary has somewhat already pointed the fingers at already. Again, somewhat making him available in trade, and if they don't end up winning, he might be the guy gone. And I really don't agree with that mindset there, because while Calgary has a solid team, I don't think Johnny Gaudreau should be blamed for their woes so far. Their defense has been really rough, and I don't think guys like Sean Monahan have stepped up either. I think he's been worse than Johnny Gaudreau. And I think when it comes to Calgary, this was kind of expected. I didn't see them as a playoff team this year. So many people went against me on that, saying, oh, they'll be a lock for the playoffs. Look how good they were last season. But they're playing like they did in the first round versus Colorado, which is exactly what I predicted. And if Calgary does end up going down this route of being mediocre, missing the playoffs once again like they have been in the past decade, I think there will be some big changes, and Johnny Gaudreau might be the least of their problems there. But while I don't think Gaudreau should be blamed for their season so far, it's looking like he might be the scapegoat for the Calgary Flames, who, again, he has like 2 more years left on his contract. He'd be a guy that has a ton of value at the draft or in the offseason, or even at the trade deadline especially. Let's say Calgary continues to be this bad, maybe they're in the dumpster by February. A Johnny Gaudreau trade might actually happen. And again, it sounds crazy, I know, but with the way they're playing right now, I don't think the Calgary ownership is going to stand for that, and I think they would want some serious changes. But while I could see Johnny Gaudreau traded at the trade deadline or in the offseason, I don't want to jump the gun and say that he's available right now, because I really don't think he is. While the Calgary Flames have been mediocre this season, I don't think he's on the block, at least not yet. Because I mean, Calgary wants to wait a little bit to see what happens throughout this season, because we still are fairly early in this season too. You gotta remember that. And the Calgary Flames could potentially turn the tide if the team starts to get going again, and also Johnny Gaudreau too. So I don't think there'll be a trade in really 2019. The calendar year. I don't see that happening, but if the Calgary Flames continue to play this bad and Johnny Gaudreau continuing to go under expectations, a trade could be pretty realistic, and as soon as February, it could happen. But we also have to consider that for the Calgary Flames, they'll make other moves before Johnny Gaudreau is even on the trade block. Looking at guys like Michael Frolik, TJ Brodie, like we mentioned before in that Elliot Friedman quote, those guys will get moved way before Johnny Gaudreau is even considered. So for a guy like Johnny Gaudreau to be traded, I don't think he's going to be the domino that just slams all the dominoes for the Calgary Flames, but I think he will maybe be a guy in the process that if they don't win this season, could potentially be flipped. I'm not sure what they end up doing. Maybe it's Taylor Hall, something crazy like that, but I think you will see signs of the Calgary Flames before even Gaudreau is considered. And for other teams that want a guy like that, they might have to take on some other contracts too. They've been wanting to get Michael Frolik off that team for 1,000 years, so it might as well happen now. And to me, the whole Johnny Gaudreau being traded soon is bogus. That's not going to happen. He's not going to be traded in the next couple of days. Don't get that for your head. But potentially in the next year, this could potentially happen. But it's all just hypothetical because the Calgary Flames haven't put them on the block officially. We haven't heard of Chris Johnson or Elliot Friedman saying, oh, he is going to be traded. So it's basically all speculation at this point. But with guys like Eric Francis, Haynes, and even Elliot Friedman somewhat suggesting it, we do get a good idea of what could potentially happen. But this all is hypothetical because the Calgary Flames turn this all around, they win this season, go to the playoffs, then we won't hear this again because Johnny Gaudreau will stay at the Calgary Flames. It's all about winning, and it's all about his performance. But that's what makes the Calgary Flames situation so interesting, because they could easily miss the playoffs this year, especially if they continue to play the way they have. Again, they've lost 4 straight games, currently sitting at 5th in the Pacific Division. They're just 1 point ahead of the Anaheim Ducks, who have 1 game in hand on them, and just a few points ahead of the San Jose Sharks, who have won 6 straight games and have 2 games in hand. So for the Calgary Flames, a team that's played a ton of games so far this season, they just cannot afford to play the way they have. But if they continue to play this way and get it decided along the LA Kings, who are sucking as well, it won't be a successful season for them, and the ownership might have to make changes. But no matter what ends up happening, I still love me some Johnny Hockey. I still love me some Calgary Flames. I'm just hoping that they can both find a resolve in this situation. But if a trade does end up happening, I think at the very earliest, it'll be the trade deadline. So don't get your hopes up of a November or December trade or anything like that, because it won't happen. And the Calgary Flames, I still think, for the most part, and I think the most likely option is keeping Johnny Gaudreau and extending him in the future. But that trade could still potentially happen if the Calgary Flames go by the wayside. But at this rate, I still think Johnny Gaudreau will stay a Calgary Flame. I think the Flames will somewhat turn around, and same thing with Johnny Gaudreau. And if I had to bet on anything, I think he will stay in Calgary rather than be traded this offseason. And Brad freaking Treliving trades Johnny Gaudreau while Milan Lucic is still on the roster, I will go absolutely freaking nuts, man. That is all. But of course, with this Johnny Gaudreau trade rumor video, boys, I need to hear y'all's thoughts down in those comments down below. So let me know what you think about Johnny Gaudreau, the recent news surrounding him, and the recent trade rumors. Do you see him being traded from the Calgary Flames in the next year, or do you see him staying with them? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, I would recommend you click this video to watch the recent NHL rumor roundup discussing the biggest rumors around the NHL. Trust me, it's a good one. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Comment down below your thoughts on the Johnny Gaudreau trade rumors and what you think about it. Share this video also with your friends. Get Grav getting up to 10K subscribers. I'm Nathan, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.